Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle and this is my very first video on YouTube. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, but I just haven't got myself to do it, to just sit down. I'm finally doing it now. So for my first video on my channel, I want to share with you guys my ACL recovery journey and explain the whole process, and if somebody else is going through this, just help somebody out as well. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So I tore my ACL 2 years ago in 2021. I was a senior in high school. Basically, it happened during a basketball game. It was like receiving a very long pass, and I tried to reach really far to get the ball, and my leg like overextended. At first it was like a really weird feeling. I didn't think much of it. I just thought it was just like a small strain or something. It didn't really hurt a lot. I got off the court and I went over to one of the athletic trainers, and she was checking my knee out, and she told me that it felt really loose and she thought that it was torn. At that moment, I didn't believe her at all, just because I wasn't feeling hurt at all. Like, the only thing was that I did feel my knee being unstable when I walked. Besides that, like, it wasn't painful or anything. I went to the doctor to get it checked out. They told me I had a partial tear, that it was very complicated, that they actually couldn't even tell exactly what it was. So I actually had to go to several different doctors because everybody was giving me different opinions. The last doctor that I went to told me that it was partially torn and it wasn't torn all the way. So I really obviously wanted to finish playing basketball. It was my senior year. I made the really smart decision to return to play. I was out for like 3 weeks, and during this time I was getting a lot of needles and I was strength training a lot, and I was doing so much, and I thought I was ready to come back and play and finish my season off strong. Also because I really wanted to play basketball in college, and I thought that the only way to do that was to end my season on a good note. After I think it was like 4 games in, I just completely tore my ACL fully, and I also tore my meniscus. This time it was really painful. I couldn't walk. My knee just like blew up. It was so puffy and bruised, and yeah, I definitely had known that I had completely like destroyed my knee. Okay, so I tore my ACL on February 26th of 2021, and then I had surgery on April 8th. So the reason why I waited like a month in between to get surgery was because it's recommended to wait a while so that you really strengthen your knee. Is a lot easier to recover if your leg is strong. I took this time and I started really strengthening my quad as much as I could. I was doing a bunch of different exercises while I had a torn ACL and meniscus. I was even doing like acrobatic type stuff like handstands and stuff like that. I wasn't like heavy lifting. I was just doing a lot of body weight stuff, and I was still working my upper body and a lot of core. Yeah, just wanting to still be fit. The day of surgery came. Once the anesthesia wore off, like, I was in the worst pain. Sometimes the meds that they give you don't really work. You need to be careful and take the exact recommended amount, because if you go over, you'll feel even worse, because I accidentally took too many. The first few nights were like hell, awful. Any sort of movement was just so painful. After like a few days, I started getting a little more energy, and I just started like working out in my room, doing like some upper body or core just to get my body moving a little bit, because it is hard staying in bed like all day long not doing anything. So my first session of PT was on the same week of my surgery, April 13th. Started off doing very simple exercises, starting to work that range of motion, a lot of band stretching. It was very painful from what I can remember, but I got through the first day. I was icing my leg all day, like pretty much non-stop. I had this like ice machine. I'm not sure if I have a video of that, but if I do, I'll insert it. But it was just like an ice machine that you wrap a pad around your knee and it like compresses it, and it's so cold, and it feels really good. If you are going through a surgery or something, I would highly recommend you go get one. It really helped a lot. After like post 10 days, I was icing every day. The maximum I would do would be like 2 hours, and I would do like 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. I just continuing that cycle. During like my post 10 days, I would start doing working on the range of motion, trying to trigger the quad muscle by doing these I don't know what they're called, but like you just push on the ground and like tense up your muscle and just push down on the ground. And I'll insert a video so like you know what it looks like. I was doing a whole lot of these, like 3 times a day, push down on the ground for about 5 seconds, and then I would do like 30 of those. After I finished my first week, I was able to get my leg to a 20-degree bend. So my first doctor's follow-up was on April 20th. During this follow-up, I got my stitches removed. It was so painful, but it was really quick. This was 2 weeks post surgery, and I got my leg bent to 65 degrees. So I was feeling good about myself and just really motivated to keep going. Going through a big injury like this, the little things just make you feel really good. During this time, I also went to the gym for the first time post-surgery. I remember I was just doing like some upper body stuff, just taking it really easy. Obviously, I was still on crutches. I think during my 3rd week of post-surgery, I got my leg bent to 90 degrees. Which felt really, really good. And I also started using the bicycle machine. My 6 weeks follow-up, I got cleared to start walking on my own without using the crutches or the brace, which I was so excited for. It was very challenging at first. I thought it would be easier, but it really wasn't. It definitely took a while to start walking normally. I obviously just took it really, really slow. And during this time, I was really overwhelmed and kind of just stressed out because I still hadn't decided where I wanted to go to school, and I still wanted to play basketball. So I was really like just networking with a bunch of college coaches. On June 2nd, I signed to King University. Even though I was going through this recovery, I knew that I would be okay. So during this time, I was just starting to have some positivity coming back in my life. So during like the month of June, I kind of just continued doing a lot of banded exercises. I started doing a lot of like body weight exercises like squats, the walking, lunges. I still wasn't really using any weight. But just like practice these and doing a bunch of these exercises about 3 times a day. It's just crucial that you keep doing these exercises during this time just to get that quad firing back. When I tell you, my leg was a stick. It was a straight line. It was so frustrating that I had literally lost like all of the work that I had put in before, but I just gotta keep going. On June 28th, I started walking and dribbling for the first time. I couldn't do any lateral movements. I was just kind of going straight up and down. And July 6th, I got cleared to start jogging on the treadmill, and I was so pumped for this. Super excited that I had reached a new milestone in my journey. It was definitely very hard because I still had a very bad limp, and the thing that I struggled with the most was getting my leg all the way straight. It was so hard for me. It was just so stiff, and I couldn't get my leg all the way straight. And I also struggled a lot with my range of motion. I started upping my weight. I would use like maybe weighted ball or just like a small dumbbell or something, and doing RDLs or walking lunges, squats. In August, I went to college. I had to definitely adjust to a lot of different things. And this is kind of when I started backtracking a lot of my progress. Our athletic trainer that I was going to every day to work on my physical therapy quit. So I wasn't doing any PT or anything. So that definitely held me back a lot. I was just so kind of just trying to navigate school and everything as a college and freshman, not really knowing what to do, and I definitely should have doing my exercises on my own, but I was obviously learning how to manage my time and everything. So this was a period of when I kind of had my recovery was kind of on like a pause, and I really wasn't progressing a lot at all. My freshman year of college was over and I went home for summer, and during this time I took my training very seriously. I also learned about knees over toes. He prioritizes in knee strengthening, and he's got a bunch of videos, and he also has a program that I signed up for, and I did all those exercises over the summer, and they helped me so much. So started working out with a personal trainer a few times a week to really focus on getting more power and strength in my leg. I started lifting a lot heavier, working on my power and sprints and all of this stuff, just ready to get back. After my 1 year mark of post-surgery, I got cleared to return to play with contact and everything, and I was so excited. My quad was just not wanting, it just wasn't responding the way that I wanted it to. It was just super small. My surgical leg was just so much smaller, my muscle. I was working out every single day. I really didn't see much change. I could feel the change, but like physically wise, my quad wasn't quadding. I wasn't eating enough food, but definitely prioritize your food as well, because I think that's definitely gonna help you. Now it was time to go back to school for my sophomore year, and finally I was able to return to play. I was so excited. I mean, the adjustment for me was so challenging. Not only is it challenging adjusting from high school ball to college ball, but not having played for a year and recovering from a huge injury was even harder. It was so hard on me, physically and mentally, but I didn't give up. I pushed through it. I definitely learned so much from this process. You have to have so much patience, as it is a very long process. It's really easy to get down and feel hopeless and frustrated. You just gotta have a very strong positive mindset. Show up for yourself every day. There always is the light at the end of the tunnel. After injuring myself, I just value my health so much more. Like, you just have a different view on life and your health and everything. That was my journey. There was a lot of ups and downs throughout. It was such a long process. You gotta take it for what it's worth and work with what you got. I was able to come back to the sport that I love to play. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to see anything else, ACL or sport related or anything. I'm going to post a little slideshow of my recovery since I did film a lot, so stay tuned for that. Bye!